Okay, so activating chakras on the spiritual path. Okay, so chakras, as you know it, the main centers, which are the seven, they go from the root, the sacral, and then it's the solar plexus one, then it's the heart one, the throat, the third eye, and the crown chakra. So I'm going to tell you something about this. It came to me of making a video like this about chakras, so I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to talk mostly from my experience of chakras. Now, one of the common questions is, should I open my chakras and activate it? Right? This is one of the common things. So, the quick answer is, and the answer is no. And I'll tell you why. Because it's not needed. Now, some people who have opened their chakras and have activated it when they were not ready for it. Now, when I'm saying not ready for it, doesn't mean that there's going to be a time where you're going to be ready for it, then you should activate it. I don't mean that. Why I say there's no need to activate it is because let's look at the solar plexus color, because I'm using yellow. So yellow for the solar plexus is, if that gets activated, you become what is known as a doer. There's a lot of self-confidence that gets built. There's a lot of doing things in this world, trying to accomplish things. So if you're not a person that's if you're kind of lazy, it's if you activate your solar plexus chakra, you become more ambitious. You become willing to do things. You want to do something. That's how it feels. It makes you feel like that. Now, you see, when you're in a world where everything is easy, it just comes to you, and your lifestyle is structured in such a way that you can afford to be lazy in life. And if you go activating your chakras, it can be beneficial, but there's a big no when it comes to that. And I'll touch on why it's not necessary properly first. So you want to become a doer. You can, at every moment, you have this opportunity, or you have this choice to say, where you can actually wake up from that lazy state and do something. But then you'll be like, oh, I don't have energy. The reason why you don't have energy is because you're not eating the right type of food, or you're not exercising, or maybe due to some health condition. If it's due to some health condition, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people that there's nothing wrong with you. You just don't want to do it. That's laziness. So if you try to break that cycle, so you just take action, you don't think, you just do. See, the more time you spend thinking in your head, the less time you actually spend acting, because in your mind, you'll convince yourself that it's too hard, you can't do it, it's too early to wake up, it's too this, too that, too that. That itself That itself is the problem. It's up here, the thinking. So if you stop listening here and stop spending too much time up here and just do it, then what actually happens is you are breaking out of that cycle, right? You are breaking out of that cycle. And because you're breaking out of that cycle, if you do it multiple times, eventually your solar plexus chakra starts to get activated over time. Now, this is a very natural way of activating the solar plexus chakra. If you're a person that's not, what you say, grounded in today's world, you're too up in your head, by taking walks in nature, that itself, or being around nature, maybe you're going to go hiking or you're going to go camping or and do some form of activity in nature, that itself will activate your root chakra or your sacral chakra and your solar plexus chakra. But you have to decide, do I want to, do I want to do these things where I can activate my chakras, but then do it in this way, because this way is one of the ways that naturally activates it. So that's literally the normal way of activating the chakras. Now, for each one that goes up, you can do that, where you do normal things in life. Now, the first three, from the bottom going up to the solar plexus. So that's the root, the sacral, and the solar plexus. If you keep on doing physical activity, naturally those chakras get activated. If you want to activate the higher chakras, the heart chakra deals with more of the creativity side, of the expression side, of being open. So let's just say you've had a lot of heartbreaks in life. Then what will actually happen is your heart chakra will either be closed off or would not be activated too much, because your openness and willingness to life itself and your sensitivity for life around you is very limited. So you must also understand that all of your chakras, every single person, is already activated and already working. It's just that when I'm saying activating these chakras, I'm also talking about turning those activation so that it's like a dial. You can turn it all the way up and you can turn it back down. So in my experience, when I sit and do meditation, you see, the chakras are very powerful. They are very, very powerful. And if you don't necessarily have the right kind of foundation before you actually activate or open these chakras fully, then what actually happens is you don't have a level of maturity. It's like giving a child a gun. That's what it's like. So if you give a child a gun, what do you think's gonna happen? So that's the same thing that actually applies with when people do things like Kundalini yoga, or they do things to forcefully activate chakras and all that stuff. That's literally what it is. You're giving a child a knife or a gun in their hand. They're not ready for it. They don't have the wisdom to hold it. They don't have the necessary means and intelligence of how to deal with that stuff. You know, a lot of people just want to go and activate the crown chakra and just experience blissfulness and stuff. No, you got to work all the way from the bottom going up to the top. Now, if you're a person that's lazy and you go and try to open all of your chakras up, it's not a good idea. So, like in my case, because of so many past lives that I have lived, I was sort of a master at these chakras and stuff. So in this lifetime, it was not dangerous because if you want to call it the being, is sort of used to this. It's like, it's like painting, or it's like breathing air. So, and I was always into spirituality from a very young age. So that wisdom, all of those things, all the necessary ingredients. I'm not saying that, it didn't come to me and I didn't earn it. It did happen, but it happened in a very natural way up till that point where I was able to actually, understand, okay, if this actually has to happen to me, I already have so I was already prepared, naturally prepared. Now, when you have mastery over the chakras, and you have mastery over your system, the whole thing, then naturally you have mastery over every single life around you. And this is what a lot of people, they don't speak of. Like, you get these spiritual teachers and stuff, some of them would openly tell you this is what happens when you have mastery over your chakras. Some don't. And the only reason why I am saying it is because it doesn't mean anything. It's this is all this stuff about chakras and stuff. It's not a spiritual path. It's not a direct path. It's the long way. So if one actually goes and explores this chakras and stuff, yes, it can lead you to having spiritual experiences, but that experiences are just of no significance at all. It's a kind of a futile path that one is actually taking when they're actually going in this route. So, when you have the mastery over the chakras, there's a lot of people that use this mastery of their chakras and they cause harm to other people by giving them Kundalini yoga, giving them an initiation and all this stuff, and then making them have experiences, because they come from this childish mentality that it's, firstly, it's a game to them, it's a business for them. So that is why they do those things. It takes an enormous amount of responsibility, one. The second thing is, you need to have been put through it's I can't even use this word, but the immense amount of wisdom that has to come to you before you actually, actually use this. There's a whole depth and whole dimension which I can go into about chakras, of the responsibility and stuff. But although I can, if I want to activate people's chakras, I will never do it. I will never ever do it. Because the moment somebody wants their chakras to be activated, then what actually happens is you're already sending them in the long direction, the long pathway. What should be actually spoken of at that moment in time is something called the direct pathway, which is an inward journey. It's not an outward journey. How is the chakras an outward journey? You must be thinking. You see that the thought in here has an idea of what chakras is, has read, you have absorbed knowledge about what chakras is. You have information about all of these things. This up here, the mind or the ego, wants to control, wants to do things with chakras, wants to experiment. This is not spirituality. This is not true spirituality. If you want your chakras, as I told you, to be activated, there's natural things that you can do in life that activates your chakras. If, for instance, you want to activate your throat chakra, get into a position in life where you are forced to speak to a large audience, or you are forced to open and voice yourself, maybe at a family party or something. By doing that, it activates your chakra, your throat chakra. You see, there's no need to go and do some mantra or do some Kundalini yoga and something. There's no need for all of those things. Yes, those things can be beneficial, but there is no need for that. And you see, if you do the Kundalini yoga and you do all these other types of stuff, what actually happens is you can damage your system, your energetic system. You can disrupt the harmony. And there's been so many people that have done those things with chakras and Kundalini energy, where they're sort of now being, if you look on the internet, marked as something demonic. All because of irresponsible action. And because of this irresponsible action that one has taken on this path, it sort of paints a negative picture for everything else that is attached to it, if you get what I'm saying. So you will get things like the spiritual wisdom that can help people, but then there's Kundalini yoga that's attached to that, or it's part of Hinduism, or it's part of this one sect. So just because of one bad thing about it, it paints a whole negative image about the whole entire value of spirituality that's in whatever culture. So this is something that needs to be specifically about chakras, not pursued at all. If you want to activate your chakras, there's a natural way of how to go about doing it. If you can look at it like this, right? I won't go through all of the 7, but this is the quickest way of how you can actually sort of get an idea. If you read about what the root chakra is, find an activity that you can do that's sort of related to what the root chakra actually does. I'll give you an example. The root chakra is to make sure that you are stable and you are grounded. Right? That's just a few examples. Stable and grounded. What can you do to make yourself more stable and grounded on this planet? Spend time in nature. Do physical things. Be intensely involved in the material world. So you can look at it like that. I gave you an example with speaking. If you want to open your third eye, there's meditation you can sit and do. You don't have to do Kundalini yoga meditation and all this stuff. You just simply sit, you close your eyes, and you just focus in the center of your eyebrows. There's nothing else that you have to do. You can observe your mind, you can observe everything that's happening. Third eye is just an eye of perception. There's no really a third eye there, but when that gets activated, it allows you to perceive. And you can perceive a lot of things. You can perceive supernatural things as well. And you can even perceive supernatural things with your physical eyes. So there's no need to open the third eye. So I think everyone probably gets the point at this whole purpose of this video about chakras. But yeah, there's no need to do all those fancy things like Kundalini yoga and all that stuff. You can activate all of your chakras doing simple things and doing things in the physical material world.